All right, so this is the second episode of the Road to WrestleMania podcast. We took a week off last week, and we're going to go ahead and pick up by covering the last 2 weeks of WWE on the Road to WrestleMania, the Cena, Rey Mysterio thing, and so much more. Tons of discussion here. This is a collaboration between World of Geekdom and Fight Game Blog, and I will leave links to the website down in the description. But hey, let's go ahead and get to the talk right now. Myself and Double G from Fight Game Blog discussing the Road to WrestleMania 34.
What up, everybody? This is Double G for the Fight Game Podcast, the collaboration, or as they used to call it in rap music, the collabo between Fight Game Blog and Geekdom 101 on the World of Geekdom YouTube channel as well. Big D, what's up, man?
Hey, we got to make up for 2 weeks worth of wrestling, and these are some big 2 weeks. So,
and there was stuff that was going on, and we will definitely make it up. First of all, I just want to acknowledge that I should not be squeaking in the chair. I heard some feedback about the chair, so I switched out the chair, so I won't be squeaking like the first show. And if you haven't listened to the first show, that was kind of like our preview show to what we've been doing. I think it's been 3 years now, the Road to WrestleMania podcast between Big D and I. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it.
I'm pretty sure I could have sworn we did our first one in like 2010. Like, didn't we do like a little mini? It wasn't like this, but it was like 3 or 4 episodes going into it.
You know the Facebook gimmick where it shows you what you did on this day X number of years ago?
Yeah, and you don't remember what the hell it was about?
I've seen 3 years worth of these podcasts, so I'm assuming it's been 3 years, but it's quite possible that we did it prior, and I just didn't tweet about it, or I just didn't write about it on Facebook. So you might be right about that.
I just have memories of going back to like 2009, and we did like previews for WrestleMania 25 and shit. I'm pretty sure we did that. I don't know about every year, but I'm pretty sure we did it that year.
Did we did them weekly leading up to the show?
I don't think it was weekly. It was like 2 or 3 of them. Like, yeah, it wasn't like this.
And because we used to do the show every week, anyways, back then.
Well, yeah, one time, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think I don't remember, bro. It's been a long time, but
don't you remember falling asleep on the air one time?
No, I don't remember falling asleep on the air. I remember eating Doritos and you got mad at me. That was one thing I did. I remember that one. I ate Doritos on the air and you got mad. That I remember. I was very unprofessional.
Okay, so the first thing I think we need to talk about, and this is something that you actually had posted a video about, and was the big rumor last week when I was out of town, which was there was a lot of speculation that the John Cena and Undertaker match was off, and that instead, and you weren't the only one to mention this.
But I was the first one.
You were the first one. That Rey Mysterio was actually going to be John Cena's opponent rather than the Undertaker. Now, I didn't listen to your whole video, but I don't think we knew the reason why. It was just the scuttlebutt, and according to everything else that I've read, that in fact was false. I don't know if it was false all along, or maybe it was just talked about, and it could have been something that was being talked about. But then Ray hurt his arm, so even if they were trying to do that, there might be something going on there. But since you were the one who had the story, you were the one who first reported it. What happened? What do you think? What was going on at that time?
No, it definitely was not false. That is incorrect. It wound up being false because of what happened to Ray. But no, I was told straight up that the Undertaker said no to the match on Monday morning. He said no, like during Raw. There was a lot of rewrites to Raw. He said no. Then the talk was, let's negotiate. They were going to negotiate with Ray anyways. I don't know what the deal was going to be. I don't have all the details. They were going to negotiate with Ray, and actually Paul, our boy Paul, did wind up meeting with Ray on Friday. So I don't know what came out of that. But the plan at one time was to have Ray be the backup. I reported it. Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report reported it. And then, but it was one of those things where it got weird because then Friday morning they're saying that, okay, well, Taker might still do the match. Basically, the story is that Taker kept changing his mind. So now where we stand, Ray hurt himself. I don't know how badly he's hurt, but he's hurt. He tore his bicep or his tricep, so that match is probably not happening. It's probably going to go back to Taker. Now, I was also told that they were discussing possibly Samoa Joe, but I was also told right after that probably not, because of he's not ready yet. So John Cena's roller coaster ride of WrestleMania this year. That's the story.
Okay, so here's what Big Dave wrote in The Observer last week, which kind of refutes what you're saying, though it doesn't mean that what you're saying is correct or incorrect. It's just what he believes, which is...
No, yeah, he definitely did not agree with me on that. Yeah, for sure.
He says Cena directly brought up The Undertaker, which drew a huge reaction, and then said it wasn't happening. This led to stories and speculation from all kinds of places that Rey Mysterio Jr. would face Cena and be on the show. The interview itself, meaning the Cena interview about The Undertaker, was meant to throw people off the scent for a few weeks, since the storyline is that Cena will be in a 6-way title main event at Fast Lane, which he needs to win.
I just want to say that's exactly what I said Monday night. I literally, when Cena, and this, okay, so the Taker thing where he canceled out of the match, he told them Monday morning, right? I did not find out until Tuesday morning, but Monday night when that promo aired, I specifically said, there's no way they would mention Undertaker unless they were doing the match, because Vince never talks about doing a match and doesn't deliver on it. Like, he just wouldn't do it. And I knew they were going to do it to kind of throw people off and say, okay, well, they're going to have something with Cena for a couple weeks till Taker was ready. I knew that, but when I heard that he actually was out, I was like, all right, well, I guess this time they didn't. You know what I mean? So I'm in a weird spot myself, because I agree with Dave until my guy told me that that's not happening. So, yeah, I agree with that completely, because it's true.
So the last piece then says, and this is the Observer that was published last week. He says, Cena versus Undertaker is still the Mania plan, or at least was at the time Cena did their interview, and we've heard nothing different. And then he said that would only you just talked about the crowd after that. So he believes that they never swayed. You believe that Undertaker is a little wishy-washy on the match. So, well, I'm sure we'll know, actually what the real story is at some point, because this stuff usually does come out.
The only reason why I do believe my guy on this, because, well, first of all, he's 95% right every time, but also he showed me text messages. Like, he actually sent me screenshots of texts from people within the company as this was going down, like actual screenshots of people in the company who, like, legit. I'm like, all right, like, and there was 2 or 3 different people. So it could be. Now, what it could be is, and this is a possibility, it could be WWE is trying to throw off the dirt sheet scent as well, because there was another story that came out that Ray wasn't really as hurt as everybody said he was. A case in point, I'll give you a great example, was back in 2008, 10 years ago, there was a rumor that Triple H and Batista was going to headline WrestleMania 24. Not 21, 24. They did headline 21. 24 24 was Batista against Umaga and Cena, Orton, and Triple H. It was Mania in Orlando, the first one I went to. That was, and if you remember what actually happened with that, was that WWE had purposely put out that fake story, and our buddy Dave Laganis is the one who became the leak. Because what happened was Alvarez reported that Batista and Triple H was the plan in Figure 4 Weekly. Dave didn't report it, and PW Insider did not report it. And then they found out that it was Dave Lagana who had leaked it. I remember that whole thing, because they remember the story how they went to Dave's desk and they found a bunch of observers and shit. Do you remember that whole thing?
I do not.
Yeah, they found a bunch of like dirt sheets, as they call them, in his desk at WWE. So that they could be doing where they're putting out like fake stuff. I don't think so, because if they are, then they're lying to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I believe Big Dave as well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Big Dave was wrong because he's Big Dave, is because I assumed he actually talked to Taker, bro. I mean, he definitely – look, I'm not saying he talked to Taker for certain, but we know he talks to Ray, and I feel like – I just based on, like, their history, so I feel like he would have a little bit more insight on that.
Yep. So originally, that was my first instinct too. I was like, oh, this is just WWE trying to, trying to give a false story so that, again, throwing the scent off of this match. But whatever it is, it does sound like that they do expect the Undertaker and John Cena, but we still have 5 weeks until the big show, so that can change.
Fastlane is this Sunday. They could shoot the angle Sunday. I mean, the thing is, look, WWE is purposely doing subversions. People have been fighting with me about this, and they're losing the fight. I've reported first. I told you first. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Charlotte.
Yep.
I said this.
Yep.
But Geekdom on Raw, they said it was going to be Alexa and Asuka. And I'm like, no, dude, let the storyline play out. But Geekdom. And I'm like, where's the graphic at? Where's the WrestleMania graphic at? Why is there no graphic yet? Why have they not put the graphic up? Why has Asuka not chosen freaking Alexa? Because remember, she has to choose her opponent still. But Geekdom. And it's like, dude, like, they don't blow their load and announce the entire card week one. WWE's never really been that way. They like to give you like weeks and weeks of buildup. They've never done that. Like, I can't remember a WrestleMania ever out of all the 34 that they've had where they've announced the entire card like week one. They always add stuff to the card, even up until the go-home show sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. the other kind of big story of last week that we didn't get a chance to talk about was WWE has the Elimination Chamber, and Brock Lesnar was not on that show. It was in Las Vegas, UFC's town, and there were lots of UFC fighters in the front row. And right when that show starts, Dana White tweets out a picture of him and Brock Lesnar with a happy face emoticon. So,
and then he said there's a very, very good chance he comes back or something like that,
yeah,
right?
he was on a radio show or something where he said that. So from the thing, from what I've read and sort of heard and gathered, it sounds like the storyline, which it currently is Roman Reigns calling out Brock for being fake, and Brock was supposed to be on Raw last week and he didn't show up, and people are trying to say, oh, he's doing it again, he's shooting, this is not fake. But,
it's like, dude, how many times do we have to tell him that nothing on TV is a shoot? How many times?
Well, I mean, Brock has no showed before, and that was probably a shoot, but from what I understand in this case, WWE actually wrote him out of the show on Monday.
That's right. Everything Dave said is accurate. They had a plan to do a confrontation. Then somebody in the company said, let's turn this. Here's what's going on. I already covered this in a video, but I'll do a quick recap. They're scared that Roman's going to get booed. This is right.
Always.
Now, if you remember, because I know we talked about this when it happened. This is exactly what happened with Dwayne and John Cena in 2012. They are scared that Cena will get booed out of the building in Miami, which, again, I'm thinking, why'd you even book the match in Miami if you knew The Rock was going to get cheered? I mean, come on, the hometown guy, Attitude Era superstar, movie star. They're going to cheer him. They're going to cheer Cena over him? Come on now. So they started having these, they started kind of elevating Cena by talking about, Rock, you write your promos on your wrist. And the main narrative they're trying to tell is that The Rock's never here. He's always here via satellite because he's bigger in the business. It's the same thing with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. The storyline that they're trying to tell the so-called smart marks. What's a smart mark? A mark with a high IQ? So is that Brock doesn't care about WWE. He doesn't care about you fans. I do, though, because I'm here every week. And it's like, I totally understand the psychology. And believe it or not, it worked. Because I had people hitting me up talking about, you know what? Roman's right. Brock's never here. It's like, you just noticed that. After 5 years of this guy being around, you just noticed that now. You just noticed that Brock's a part-timer, which kind of pisses me off. It's like they're literally playing the fans like a fiddle and they're buying it. But I'm okay with it because a good promoter does that, So the storyline is that, no, Roman Reigns is not shooting. He didn't break the script. He didn't get yelled at. He was told to say that because nothing in wrestling on TV is a shoot, bro. There's been maybe, 4 shoots ever in the history of wrestling that are actual shoots, like real ones, like 4, like the screw job, Scott Steiner, half the time in WCW. What's another one? Spider Lady. Yeah, Spider Lady, and I don't know, I forgot the 4th one, but it hasn't been very often. In Japan, it happened all the time, though. The point is that Roman Reigns did not break character, dude.
So, what do you think they are doing for this for the match, or for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar again? It doesn't sound like things are going smoothly with them trying to figure out what to do here, because of there's also a negotiation that is happening at the same time with Brock Lesnar. And the thing that makes me laugh is when people go, oh, Vince probably doesn't even want Brock anymore. I'm like, come on, man. Like Vince, even if he wasn't Brock Lesnar, just the fact that the UFC wants Brock Lesnar would make Vince want him more. So, if you think that, Vince doesn't want Brock anymore, he doesn't want to get burned, and blah, 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 blah. This is just negotiation, man. This is just business. And of course Vince would like Brock. And, maybe he'd want him to do more dates or whatever. They have to discuss it. But the idea that Vince is like, I'm done with this guy. Come on, man.
No, I don't think he is either. I think my prediction, and I think it's probably most people's prediction, Brock will do another fight, and then he'll come back. His deal's too sweet.
It'll be good for him to be away, too. If he's away for 10 months or even a year, and then all of a sudden, the opportunity to bring him back, they love doing those surprise comebacks and, catching people off guard and all that stuff. It will work. The fact that he's been around, like you said, for 5 years or whatever, he hasn't been around every week, so he hasn't really burned himself out. But still, it's very formulaic. We know what they're doing when he wrestles. He's going to come in and throw guys around and win a tough match. And if he loses, he's gonna get a rematch and probably win. So it's good for him to be away a little bit. Now, I don't know what they will do for that sort of that belt, that main event, universal title or whatever, but. I think it's positive for him to go get that out of his system, go make money with the UFC, comes back a happy guy. He hopefully, if he wins, he comes back a bigger star to WWE. Like, that would be great too.
It's just funny to me, though, that Roman's whole thing is, well, Brock's the champ, but he's never here, which is, there's truth to it. But like Hulk Hogan never wrestled on TV in the 80s except for twice a year, like when he was at his absolute peak. Right now, Brock doesn't do as many house shows as Hulk Hogan, so there is that. But I just find it funny that we're complaining about this now when it's always been like that with Brock. It's always like, why is it a problem now? Like, I guess the whole narrative is the fans are tired of this guy only being around for a short amount of time. I guess that, and I kind of somewhat agree. Like, I'm okay with them having – like, I somewhat agree in that like having the champion on TV every week is something that would be – that'd be fine. I'd be fine with it. I don't think he's necessary to be there. But, having the champion wrestle every 3 months is something that usually, all Japan would do things like that, but they would also have tag matches. There would be other things, that they would do in between. You know what I mean? Like, Misawa would defend the belt 3 times a year, but he'd have tag matches and non-title matches. Brock's just never there. So I do kind of get it, but it's weird because, again, it's like you want to keep him off TV because you want to keep that, that shiny, that you don't want to burn him out. But at the same time, after a while, it does kind of become like, all right, why is this guy never on? So, I get it. It's just people need to understand this is not a shoot. This is part of the storyline. That's part of the angle. And thank God they didn't do some dumb shit like having Roman say something like, oh, I'm not going to lay down for you at WrestleMania. Well, they might do that next week for all we know. I'm glad they're not going to do that kind of stuff. But, it makes sense. I think the narrative makes sense. I just want people to understand it's not a shoot, that it's all planned out. This is all part of the story.
And I did not really like Paul Heyman's long promo to end Raw on Monday.
I loved it.
I think he was trying to draw something out of people at the end of a 3-hour show that they just were not willing to
they were dead, bro.
In.
Yeah, they were dead. Yeah. I love what he said, though.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And, if Brock Lesnar can go to the UFC, he's gonna make a lot of money. He'll be a bigger star, like I said. And if for what by hook or by crook, if they could get John Jones out of USADA jail, they'll probably do the biggest buy rate in the history of the UFC. I don't see that happening. I don't know how it would be possible, but if that fight did happen, it would probably break all the records for sure.
You think that would break like McGregor's records?
Yeah, I think is McGregor about a 1-6 or something like that as far as buy rate. I think they do more than that.
Brock is also at a 1-6 because UFC 100 was a 1-6. Right?
Yeah. Maybe McGregor's and Nate Diaz was a little bit bigger. I don't remember.
Well, I know that McGregor and Mayweather. What was that? Was that 3?
Yeah, something like that. And that's why I don't really remember the UFC ones, because when Mayweather and Pacquiao did that huge number that they did, I was like, okay, like we don't even really need to count anymore.
People say that number will never be topped, and it's just funny because remember when like De La Hoya Mayweather happened, and everybody said that number would never be topped. Like, I'm not saying it will be. I'm saying at some point it will. And I think it'll happen in our lifetimes. But it's gonna be hard because they're gonna have to find. We're probably gonna be old men by then, but they're gonna have to find a star like Mayweather in a fight that big. And I think at some point it will be topped, but it's gonna be a while.
Well, I mean, the biggest fights right now, Golovkin and Canelo, they're doing okay, but they're not really breaking the bank with that fight. That's the biggest fight boxing has right now.
And they're not going to do Golovkin and Mayweather because, number one, Floyd ain't going to take that fight. Number two, he outweighs him by how much? Like, that would be a big fight if they did it. If Golovkin knocks out freaking Canelo, which is probably not happening, but if he does, they're going to want to do it. But the weights is just – I don't know exactly how many pounds, but –
yeah, Golovkin would have to come down to like 150.
Yeah, he might lose power. No, but I do think Brock's going back to UFC. I think he will fight, and we'll see what happens from there. I don't think we've seen the last of him in WWE though. I think if he comes back next year, or the year after, he's not done with WWE because he has admitted that he likes doing predetermined wrestling or whatever. So there you go.
Yeah, he's a pro wrestler. He came up in it. He grew up in it. He understands it. He's the best businessman there is in the game. So
and he gets paid really well, and he gets an easy schedule. He doesn't have to be on the road. I mean, that's a sweet freaking deal, dude. People don't understand how sweet. People get mad at him, and it's like, dude, he got himself a sweet deal. Like, why do you blame like the businessman for that?
Bobby the Brain Heenan said you should only do it for the money.
He's right, because you don't want to end up in a wheelchair and then be broke like Dynamite Kid, some of these guys,
Trying to get them 5 stars, man.
Right? 6 stars now. 6 stars now.
So from one UFC fighter to another, Ronda Rousey has now been on Raw a couple of times. The crowd has really enjoyed her, at least this last show. She was in the first segment, and the crowd was going nuts. I'm watching it and I'm going like, okay, this is about a C+, but the fans are treating it like it's an A. Like, what are your thoughts on what they're doing with her?
I like it. I really do. I like what they're doing. I actually really like it, dude. Like, a lot of people have been saying, no, I love it, dude. I love it. I love how the whole story was that Kurt cucked down to Triple H, but then, I love it. Like, they were bullying Kurt pretty much because what Kurt told Ronda at Elimination Chamber was true, in that they were talking shit. Kayfabe, of course, in the kayfabe world, not in the real world. That whole thing. And then I love how Triple H cheap shots Kurt, and it's like I love – this is great storytelling. I love how had Triple H never cheap shot at Kurt, none of this would have happened. What happened was – God, I love this. Okay, think about the psychology here. Triple H, he's a little dick motherfucker. And I don't mean Paul. I mean like the character of Triple H. He was mad at Kurt for almost ruining that deal. So he cheap shots Kurt. So he's sitting there and he's bullying Kurt Angle business-wise. Stephanie's telling him, oh, you have a daughter, you have kids, blah, blah, blah. They're bullying him, and Kurt's like, okay, I'll go along with it. But the minute that you put your hands on me, dog, that's when Savage Kurt came out. And I love that they waited a week for Savage Kurt from the 96 Olympic Games to come back. And I love how, it's implied that – it's not stated, but it was implied that the other Olympian, Ronda, had to kind of give Stella her groove back, and Kurt Angle saying, why you let that man slap you? Like, fuck that guy. You're freaking Kurt Angle. Like, I love it. I love it. Like, I feel like even though Dwayne is a much bigger star and it would have been much more mainstream publicity, I feel like storyline wise, the Kurt Angle Ronda team makes so much more sense. Their history, the way that he's the general manager of Raw, his history with Paul. Because remember, Paul pedigreed him at Survivor Series. Kurt, he let it slide. Like, all right, you're a bully. I'm going to let you go. But when he put his hands on him again, no, I'm not going to let that one slide. And I love it. I love how Kurt was like, you know what? I'm a man. I love it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Ronda's Samoan drop was a little awkward, but it was fine. I liked it. I can't complain. I can't. I just wonder what they're going to do for the next 4 weeks.
You know what she called it? She didn't call it a Samoan drop.
What did she call it?
A standing reverse kata guruma. It's a judo move. And she started tweeting out judo moves like Uranage as well.
It's a Samoan drop, bro. Come on.
Well, she says it's coming from the judo world, and in WWE it might be a Samoan drop, but according to her, this is what it is. This is why she chose it.
I've watched a handful of judo matches, and I've never seen somebody do a Samoan drop. Unless she's talking about like a reverse grapple takeover, then I guess maybe. But yeah, listen. If she's gonna start doing wrestling moves and coming up with wacky names for them, I'm all right with that. I'm okay with it. Joey Styles made a career out of doing that, so I'm okay with it.
My one worry with Kurt, and I loved his fire too. My one worry with Kurt is that
I love Kurt so much.
He looks like he hasn't slept in like 2 weeks. Like,
that might be true.
He looks like just his eyes look like they're gone. I'm worried about him getting hurt. I'm worried about him, having to take a little bit of the medicine to look the part come WrestleMania. I'm worried about a lot of those things.
Well, he did awesome in that 3 versus 5 match in October. He did great.
Yeah, but then he hurt his hamstring for the Survivor Series match like before it even started.
Yeah, I know.
So I thought it was a strong way to get the match signed, because Ronda was like, "You said I could make my match," and Ronda was like, "Yep, as long as it's not it's not a title match or someone who's not on the roster." And she's like, "Okay, me against you." And Steph was like, "No, I'm not on the roster." And then Kurt was like, "No, you have a wrestling contract, and plus I'm the matchmaker." And then when Triple H suckered him and stuff, so then they were like, "Okay, let's make it a tag." And I think it was a really good way to make that match. The crowd was pretty fired up for it, but it makes me wonder if they didn't have this Ronda Rousey rabbit in their hat. This might be one of like the weaker WrestleManias from a star power perspective. Because, there are some good matches like Brock and Roman, I think, is going to be really good. AJ and Nakamura, won't be New Japan worthy, but it'll still be.
If it's given time.
Even if it's a given time, I don't think it'll be as good as that match. But still, it's going to be really good. And Cena and Undertaker will be smoke and mirrors, but it should be fine for what you expect. But, this Ronda match, it looks like it's the one that is really kind of feeling like WrestleMania, where those other matches, maybe I'm underrating them, but it just felt like without this Ronda thing, like I don't know if WrestleMania would be as big as it has been.
No, I mean that's why they signed her, man. She's a mainstream star. I'm sure that clip was played on SportsCenter. That's it. Like this was a great move. We talked about it last time we recorded. This is a great move. Again, I'm sure they wish they had Dwayne, but he's doing movies. He's doing Die Hard with one leg, so that's not happening anytime soon. It's funny because when I saw that trailer at Super Bowl, I was like, "Oh, it's Die Hard with one leg." Then I go on Twitter and everybody said that. I thought I was the creative one here. I guess not. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think wrestling wise, it might actually be one of the better cards. Like as far as like in ring, because I like the card. I mean, I actually like what they're giving us here. The 3-way with the IC title. And they might add Strowman to that. They might not, depending on what happens with the Roman thing. But I like that match a lot because it's like even though Miz is not that good of a worker, you can have Seth and Finn in there to do a lot of the work. Like it's good. Like it's a good card. There's still some stuff missing, but it's a good card.
There might be something else going on with Braun. But I'll sort of let that play out. But the other thing is that I'm just kind of wondering where a lot of this SmackDown stuff goes onto the card, and we'll talk about.
Me too.
We'll talk about.
We got Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton, and Rusev, and I don't know, and they're pretty big stars, and I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and
Kevin Owens,
and you know we might as well just talk about it right now. But Fastlane is this weekend, like you mentioned, and we got the 6-way, and on a SmackDown on Tuesday night, they actually had Sami Zayn kick Kevin Owens right in the face and pin him in their impromptu five-way match. I almost feel like if you're gonna do anything with Zayn and Owens, it would be better if it happened after WrestleMania, because the after WrestleMania part is really low on ideas, because they build up so much creative for Mania. And I feel like if they do Sami and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, it'll kind of just be lost in the shuffle. Have you heard anything about what they're going to do with that program come WrestleMania? Which I'm sure we'll see more on Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be a big part of Sunday.
I haven't heard anything, dude. And that's the thing is, if I did hear about it, I probably would have told you. That's because I agree with you. There's a lot of – I don't know what they're going to do with SmackDown. Because what I thought they were going to do, I thought they were going to do like a multi-man U.S. title match, like Bobby Roode versus Jinder versus Rusev versus Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler, like mix it up like that. And now I'm not really sure anymore. Now, I did hear one thing. I heard they're going to try and make the Andre Battle Royal a little bit more special this year because of their Andre documentary coming out, or movie or whatever. So they might put some big stars in that. They might have Strowman in that. They might have Randy Orton in that. I don't know. But it is interesting that they have so many stars that aren't really – they don't have any direction right now. And they still got 4 weeks, so, I mean, whatever, after Fastlane. But I just – you know what I'm saying? I just wonder, like – I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know. Because I feel like if they're going to do Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens again, it's got to be something they've never done before, some kind of new stipulation or something, because they've already had that match. Like, if you count their indie feud, they've had a million matches, and it's like there has to be something different. I don't know if they'll do it, though, because, I mean, then, like, how much time is this show going to – again, another 7-hour show? I don't know.
Yeah. But, maybe they
what's Randy gonna do?
Yeah, maybe they get back together, and then maybe they hold off the turn for the summer where you can actually make it important. I just look at the show and I'm like, okay, the top level main of SmackDown program, and you're gonna do a match between these guys, and it's going to be like 7th from the top. Like you need it to be a little bit more special. The other thing is, like they keep teasing the Shane and Daniel Bryan thing, and
I was going to say that,
and we obviously know they're not going to wrestle, right? Daniel Bryan's not going to wrestle at WrestleMania. What do you do with Shane? They've had Shane wrestle at the previous 2 WrestleManias. He's wrestled on pay-per-view again in the Hell in the Cell. I imagine that maybe it's going to be him and Sami or something, or him and Kevin again, or I don't know, something like that, where they can actually make it a little bit more spectacle, and we can save the Sami and Kevin match.
I would leave him off the card this year. That's just something I would do, but I agree with you that that's an unfinished storyline. And I feel like, because this has been building since like September, it is a WrestleMania feud. It's a WrestleMania program. I don't know. It's very strange. It's very, very strange where they're going with it. Like SmackDown seems very directionless. Do they stick him in? Do they stick Shane in the Andre Battle Royal? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And you've also got the women, they're gonna have like I said, Charlotte and Asuka is gonna be at the big SmackDown title match, but. Where's Becky? Where's Naomi? Are they doing
the fabulous Moolah Battle Royal for the women?
There you go, bro. Just give them everything.
I can't take that one. That one was that's a Larocca one, but that one popped me, so I had to say it.
Right.
So quickly this card. So we have the 6-way for the title. It's built all around John Cena not having a road to WrestleMania, which is kind of funny. But AJ, John, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, the way that they do these multi-man matches, it's going to be a good match. It'll be booked really well. It'll be laid out very well.
One fall to a finish. We got to tell them that.
Do you think the Undertaker possibly pops up on this show?
I don't think he'll pop on this show. I think he'll pop on Raw, but I do think that Asuka will appear on this show, and this is where they're going to book her challenging Charlotte when she beats Ruby Riott.
Okay, that was going to be my second question. Yep. And so Flair against Ruby Riott for the SmackDown Women's title. So I think Charlotte should look pretty impressive. I don't think she should just squash Ruby Riott, but the goal is to put her at a different level. And having Asuka challenge her, I think, would be awesome. It would be a nice moment. You get that Raw and SmackDown kind of synergy where they're going to start doing that anyways because they're going to do away with the brand-specific pay-per-views. So that'll be a little special.
Ruby Riott looks just like Matt Serra.
Oh, bro. That's not nice.
Hey, I like Matt Serra, but all right.
So you mentioned Randall Orton. He faces Bobby Roode in a match that could either be like pretty darn good technical wrestling match or just two guys who are just being lazy off their ass.
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking. And I have a weird feeling Jinder might get involved. I hope they don't fuck us and have Jinder come in and win and like beat up Bobby Roode, get a DQ or something. I don't want to see that, but I can't pick a winner here because logic would tell you that Randy's the bigger star and he should go into Mania with the U.S. title. But Bobby Roode getting his legs cut off now is a bad idea, dude. But I don't know if Bobby Roode should beat Randy Orton this early.
I feel like Roode is flat, though. Do you feel like he's –
Yes, he is. This is one – I hate to say it because I like Bobby Roode. Let's be real, though. This is one of those, it worked in NXT, doesn't work on the main roster. Just like Adam Rose. Like I'm not saying he's a bad – I love Bobby Roode. I've been a fan of his for years. The gimmick, glorious as a baby face, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I don't know, dude. I can't pick a winner here because – mostly because I don't care. But really, it's like I would have preferred if they did this match at Mania as like the opener. Like Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and Bobby Roode gets a big win over him. If they really want to go in that direction, but I don't know. You're right. He is flat. It's not working out for me right now. And I like Bobby Roode.
So these guys have had a few matches this year that have been really good. Usos against New Day.
I'm excited for that.
That should be pretty darn fun.
They should do that match at Mania, but I feel like all the other matches they've already done are so good. It's like, another 4-way.
And then they created Nakamura against Rusev. I popped when Nakamura did his Aiden English impression. And then
Nakamura's going to win that one because they get momentum. That's your little that's like your little February. They've done this before, like back in the day, like the February pay-per-view victory for the Rumble winner thing. They've done that before. And that's one thing I will say is Rusev needs to be a babyface. I think that him and Bobby should flip roles and have Bobby be a heel and Rusev be a babyface because he's just way, way over right now with the crowd. And I just can't stand when this company has somebody who's over and they don't do the right thing with him. I can't stand it.
Because they don't want him to be over. They're like, come on, bro.
I hate that,
Know your role. Know your role and shut your mouth.
I hate that shit, bro. And they've done it for so many years now. It's annoying to me.
And then there's a women's tag team match. Becky Lynch and Naomi against Natalya and Carmella. Just sort of their tag team match. Get some people on the card. But, I mean,
no Mojo Rawley on this card, which makes me happy.
But from an actual, like, imagine if you tried to sell this as, like, an old school WWE pay-per-view. Like, oof, this is doing, ECW, the ECW cage match buys, man.
Now you talking about December to December?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you've got a main event with Baron Corbin in it, bro, and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, come on, dude. I just don't see what they see in Corbin, and I'm not Triple H or Vince, bro, but I just don't see it. He's not a good promo.
You don't like your men tall?
Pause. I'm not answering that, but I don't. He's not that good. He comes off like. He reminds me of remember Kevin Thorne, like Mordecai, like
he reminds me of all those guys from that era.
Yeah, all those guys who were like, I guess they're okay, but I feel like those guys, no disrespect, in like another era would have just been job guys. Like I feel like Corbin or like Kevin Thorne, if they were around during the Monday Night War or like the 80s era, they would just be job guys. I just don't see them getting pushes, even though they're tall. Like I just don't see it. So I just don't know what they see in that dude. I know he's a legitimate athlete. I know all that stuff. I get it. He just has no charisma to me, bro.
Yeah. I didn't even really like him in NXT. So he and Ziggler are both very close to change the channel heat with me. And Ziggler, I know a lot of people really like Ziggler, but
he's probably, I hate to say it, dude, I'm gonna get shit for this, but he's probably the most overrated wrestler in the company. Yeah, he's a good wrestler. He does good bumps. So do a lot of jobbers. I keep saying that. He's just, I think at this point in his career, Dave's talked about this. He needs to move on. He's got to go to Japan, go do some lucha. He's spinning his wheels. He's like Carlito was in like 2010, where he's just there, like doing nothing. But supposedly he's getting paid a lot of money. Like he's doing that whole Brian Pillman highest paid jobber gimmick thing. I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, he's getting paid a lot. He re-signed because he was getting paid a lot. So you know what? More power to him.
That's why all those guys do it.
There's a rumor, right? Yeah, well, I was going to bring this up, that Alberto also got that sweet deal where he got paid a shitload of money and didn't do anything with him. And the rumor is that he might come back now.
I know. He wants it.
With Paige. No, that'll work out great.
Man, if I'm Paige, I'm like, just keep me away from that dude.
No, if I'm Alberto, I'm going to keep you away from that chick, bro. We're going to go both ways on this one.
Yeah, hey, both ways, totally.
That is toxic, bro.
But if I'm Mandy Rose, I also say keep me away from that dude.
Well, I wouldn't mind being away from Mandy Rose. Well, isn't she dating? Didn't she date? Wasn't Mandy Rose the one that fucked around with Enzo?
I don't know.
Was that her?
No, I think it was. There's the other blonde from
Carmella.
SmackDown. No, from SmackDown.
I thought it was Carmella who fucked around with him. Talking about Sarah Logan?
No,
not Sarah Logan. Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. I think it was Liv.
I don't know these chicks, bro. I don't care.
Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan is married to one of the tag team they just signed. Those big guys.
Yeah, the ROH guys. Yeah. Well, Liv Morgan's real name is Giona Daddio, so I could see her fitting in with Enzo pretty well. Unless, of course, those allegations are true, in which case nobody fits in with him. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, we can. I totally forgot about that guy. So they kept him off TV, and it's just nothing. You don't hear anything about him.
I'm so glad he's gone. I mean, obviously, if what he did is true, it's horrific. But I'm glad he's gone. I don't miss him.
Okay, quickly. This wasn't really on my mind, but something that you said made me think about it. Because I don't think we talked about it last time, but the Fox rumors, WWE, Raw, and SmackDown to Fox. What do you think about that, and have you heard anything?
I actually reported on that in January because I'm good. No, there is legit talk that Vince may want to sell at some point. I'm not saying tomorrow, and I'm not saying next year, but at some point he might want to sell the entire company to Fox and or Disney. But the rumor that you're talking about is about Raw being moved to Fox. And I think Dave talked about it too for a while. I think the talk is that it's a possibility, but it's too early to talk about. That's what I had heard. Right?
I mean, I don't know. That deal is still a ways from being up, but I think the thing that's intriguing to me is putting Raw on the broadcast version of Fox. We're not talking about FS1. We're talking about Big Fox, putting that TV show Monday night, 8 to 10 or 9 to 11 or whatever the time would be, cutting back to 2 hours. Like, that's kind of big, dude. Like, think of, could NBC or ABC or CBS putting Monday Night Raw in a regular time, in a regular prime time slot on Monday. That would be big.
And that's also not cable. That would that not be like network television?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is big. It's huge. I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many things going on behind the scenes now, like with the XFL coming back and whatever happened to that whole thing where they were going to – remember how we heard about 12 years ago they were going to expand out and do like WWE Europe, WWE Japan, WWE Africa. We got the Europe and we got that for –
It wasn't even 12 years ago. It was like – gosh, it was like I want to say even less than that.
Yeah, well, I thought it was like 06, but I remember that was the talk. They were going to expand out to different territories. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't even give a prediction on this because it's freaking XFL, and I don't know. All I know is that there was legitimate discussion about selling, which I would have never believed it, but Vince is getting up there in age, and maybe he doesn't trust his daughter. I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think the way that you would sell is if the value of the company is at a much higher rate than what you believe it should be. Like if you're Vince and you're like, wow, we're overvalued. Maybe it is time to sell because, something's going to happen and the price is going to go down and we won't have that chance. I think that would be one of the reasons to do that. But because they are valued very high right now, and a lot of it is kind of smoke and mirrors in of itself. Like the Raw ratings are down. We know that live attendance is down. The WWE Network is static. They're not growing. So what makes people believe on Wall Street that this company is actually a mover and a shaker?
That's why Ronda's signing was so big.
Yeah, of course. But it's all about the possible growth, and people think that the possible growth is there for this company to become even bigger than it is. It's so funny to me because the UFC, their ability to make stars. Now, not necessarily hold on to the stars because the outcomes are real, but I mean, you compare them in the last 5 years, the stars that they made versus stars that WWE made. Where's the Conor and Ronda for WWE in the last 5 years? There isn't one.
They've been trying with Roman, and it's just not working out.
They constantly have to go back to stars from the 90s because or the 2000s.
John Cena. John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena from the 2000s. But
they got Ray, another one they want to, because he got a pop, bro, and he sold merch. Jeff Hardy,
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's just like, I think the other thing that people really like about WWE is they cut costs and they go bare bones sometimes. Like they don't even do pyro anymore. Like their ability to make their books look good in that sense is strong. And yeah, sure, but the growth they believe in the growth. And I look at it and I go, okay, well, maybe the UFC is on a little bit of a downswing right now because of issues, but man, I really believe in Dana White's ability to make stars as well as the matchmaking. Maybe not today with the matchmaking, it hasn't been as good, but again, they're just in a little bit of a lull. So I don't know. I think Vince is doing a pretty good job at making things look better than they are, and more power to him. Like the WWE is worth a lot of money right now, and their stock is doing really great. So. Yeah, I would love to see them go to Fox, by the way, because if only for selfish reasons, so they would cut back to 2 hours again, because these 3-hour Raws are crazy.
I just think that we could do a whole show on this. I just think that the secret, and again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know everything, but I think the secret to the business as far as getting more people involved, and getting more eyeballs on it is, cutting back 2 hours would make things a lot better, but I also think they have to tell better stories, dude. And I think that they've done a really good job of getting some new guys over last year. We got Samoa Joe. We got Braun Strowman, which is a great work. Elias is really working out pretty well for them. Like, they've also screwed up with guys like Baron Corbin, but he had no charisma anyways. There's dudes that, it's working out for them. But I just think they have to come up with ways of writing storylines that are sort of like what the hot TV shows were doing for the past few years. Good cliffhangers, that actually, like they've been doing a good job lately. Like the way that Roman cut that promo on Raw about, next week me and Brock face to face, like that's good stuff. That's old school Bill Watts style, and they got to do more stuff like that. They should do that because it's like. But the 3 hours thing is definitely a problem. It's too much, bro. It's too. And have you noticed that they've been doing really long segments? Like, have you noticed that Elias segment went on forever? Like, their segments now, like they had the 2-hour match or almost 2-hour match. Then they had that really long Cena Goldust promo, right? The following week. That was long. Like it's almost like they're booking 2-hour shows but stretching them out. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. No, it does. It definitely does. Okay, so I want to end the podcast with an update on our WrestleMania weekend festivities. But before that, just because this has been in the news, it's not really WrestleMania related. But what did you think about the announcement of the All In show in September in Chicago? These guys, these indie guys, Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. They're trying to run an 11,000 seat building. Do you feel that it's like a hot thing? Do you think it's something of value, or are people who want to see this succeed overblowing it a little bit?
I think it'll be. I think they can probably easily get like 4,000 or 5,000. I think they could. I really think with the internet now and the way that the business is, they could probably get 4,000 or 5,000. It's going to depend on whether or not they can get somebody big. Like, I know that the two big kind of rumors are they want to get Punk and they want to get Bryan. Now, Bryan Danielson, he's signed to WWE, I think, through August. So it's right before the show, and they might not have time to promote him. And then they also have the whole Punk thing, but I believe Punk's fighting again. So if they can get CM Punk and they advertise it as the return of CM Punk, I could see them doing 7,000, 8,000. But like Dave said, like it's been talked about, WWE can't even do that sometimes, like for Raws and whatnot. So they're going to have to come up with some kind of match that's like unprecedented. I think Punk coming out of retirement is huge. That's a big one. That could sell you 10,000 seats. Daniel Bryan against like Okada or Kenny Omega, that too. They probably want to get Jericho involved. They're probably going to try and do like an international thing, like, like the Inoki Peace Festival, where they're going to have like a lucha match and things like that. It's just going to be tricky, dude, because think about this one, okay? TNA had a lot of stars. I think people forget. TNA had Hulk Hogan, who is still a big star no matter what at one time. They had Sting. They had Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and the list goes on, right? All under one roof, and they couldn't even get 10,000 people. So, and they had national television. I don't know, man.
My prediction is that they'll probably sell about 4,000 seats immediately, like you said. And then I think they're going to save something for up their sleeve to get them to that 7-8 level. I hope that they get to 10. That would be great.
Me too. That'd be great for the business.
But I don't think they would have booked this show if they didn't think that they have something up their sleeve that's going to push that number. And I think I'm going too. I think I'm going to go to that show in Chicago.
I consider going too, actually. If I wasn't, I'm taking a trip to New Orleans for Mania, and I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Texas in May to host a convention. I'm going to Mexico in July, and I'm probably going to Japan in December. So that's another trip, and I hate flying and I hate taking trips, but I'm not gonna lie, it crossed my mind to go to that because it seems like.
What are you doing in Mexico?
A friend of mine's getting married, and they're doing it in Mexico. So
like in Cabo or like in Mexico City?
No, like Cancun, like the nice area.
Yeah, okay. Like a destination wedding.
Yeah, a destination wedding. Yeah, I kind of wish it wasn't in Mexico, but whatever. I've never been. I'll enjoy myself. But the point is that
that's like a anniversary trip for you and the wifey too.
Well, yeah, but we'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens. It's just one of those things where it's a lot of it's just a lot of trip. I hate flying, dude. I hate flying. But yeah, we'll see. But I would love to go to that show too. We'll see. I guess New Japan would have to be involved, right? It would have to be like a New Japan Ring of Honor or like PWG combo thing. They could do stuff.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of wonder because if you, there was a great article on The Ringer about Cody, really good piece, and from that article, it sounds like they don't really want to use ROH to help them with the show, which would then mean to me that they probably don't want to use New Japan, and they kind of want to do things on their own, which makes it a little bit, I would say, more cost effective. But then again, they're the ones who want to foot the bill. We'll see what happens. But it sounds to me like they kind of want to do this thing on their own. So that's why I think that there's got to be something up their sleeve for to drive the tickets sales.
I just feel like they're doing it in Chicago, and CM Punk might be available. They got to try and get Punk. They got to try.
Do you watch the Being the Elite shows?
No, I only hear about them. I don't watch them. So no, I don't watch them. I don't have time.
I mean, I think people are going to be watching those pretty closely because they like to tease stuff out in those shows, and they're pretty entertaining for what they are.
Let me see real quick who gets more views a month, me or the Young Bucks here. I'm taking a look. No, I gotta see. I gotta see here. All right, I'm doing it right here on the air. All right, Young Bucks, Being the Elite.
Being the Elite, that's the channel.
Oh, poor Young Bucks. 1.3 million views a month. Let's go to Geekdom 101. 14.7 million. So let's just, all right. So Matt and Nick or Stephanie, whatever their name is, look, I will sell you ad space on Geekdom 101, $1,100 for a 30-second ad if you want promotion. I'm saying it right here on the air because I know they're listening. I got 15 million views a month. I can get you some promotion.
Okay, but if you how many videos do you do a week?
Like 7.
I mean, if you average it out, you guys are probably doing similar views per video. They're just not updating.
We can figure that out quickly. Let's see. Their newest video is at they do have some pretty good views. Yeah, they do about what I do. You're right. You're actually right. They actually do right around what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and not not to temper what you do or anything. I just knew that from a daily view, you're definitely beating them, but because you just have more content.
No, but you're right. They have a couple of videos that didn't do so well, but in general, yeah, they do about 171K, 200K. But actually, this is the 200K video was a week ago, so listen, I'm more popular than they are, bro. That's the bottom line. All right, enough of this watering shit down. I am, but you know what? They're probably gonna make more money than I will on this 10,000 seat arena show, so that's good.
And I just looked at up, down, down, and both of you guys are beating the pants off of that channel.
We are.
The last. It looks like about. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, according to my stats here, he's got 5.7 million views a month, which I am beating him, but the Bucks aren't. However, he has more subscribers than I do, which is fine. He has way more. No, Xavier has 1.5 million subscribers roughly. I've only got 500,000. But you're right, the views aren't as big. So, hey, it's all good though. I would love to be on Up, Down, Down. Maybe I will one day. He's supposed to be coming to the convention in May, so we'll see.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What an interesting week too. So we find out that your boy Michael B. Jordan is a fan of Dragon Ball. Did you see that?
I did not.
You didn't see You didn't see that? So somebody found a tweet from Michael B. Jordan from 2011 where he's asking for, and this is kind of funny, he's asking a pirating manga website where the new chapter is for Naruto. He is an anime fan, and then right after it was reported that he was an anime fan, specifically Dragon Ball and Naruto, Kim Kardashian comes out and says that she's also an anime fan, which is like, all right, okay. But yeah, I thought you had seen that. Michael B. Jordan is a Dragon Ball fan. Like there's tweets of him tweeting about it from like 7 years ago.
That's my guy.
That is your guy.
All right. So before we get to the last thing, I just want to proclaim it here so that it is said. But on my other or same channel, but on my other podcast, the Ball So Hard podcast, I want to do the 7 deep dives into Rocky through Creed prior to Creed 2 coming out in November. Are you in?
I'm in, but I didn't even know it was coming out in November. I thought it was coming out next year.
I think it's coming out in November.
All right, I'm in.
All right.
I don't see why that'd be a problem. As long as we have to put them on here, too. Put them on World of Geekdom as well.
Yeah, we can do the same thing. Collaboration.
Okay, I still want to talk about Last Jedi, bro, but that'll be another debate with freaking LaRocca.
I think LaRocca may be in, so we'll have to talk about that off air. I think he's interested.
I'm gonna ask him if he's gonna book freaking Jeff Cobb to no show an event because he's worried that it's his nephew and whatever. Let's book Jr. Kratos to drink milk out of a titty, bro. Let's see if he'll do that.
I'm sure he'd be in. All right, last thing. So we're both going to be in New Orleans. I'm only going to be there a couple days. I don't know what your schedule is, but did you finally buy your ticket?
I have my ticket. I got my ticket. Yep, I am going.
What row? What row are we sitting in?
5th row, ringside.
Are you on the hard cam?
No, I'm on the same side as the hard cam.
Okay. So
you will not be seeing me on camera, but hey, it's a once in a lifetime thing, bro. It wasn't cheap, but I might never get this chance again. And I'm sitting with, NFL superstar Mike Daniels, so it's going to be a fun time. I even go to the back. I mean, who knows? He was at Green Bay last night for SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and Vinny Curry will be there too from the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So it'll be a fun time.
So I think you should go to at least one of these other indie shows. Like,
why?
Because
I just want to eat.
I know, but there's going to be like so much good wrestling that weekend. And I know you said I already did it. I've already done that whole thing before, but there's so much good wrestling that weekend. You can't just go to the one WWE show and call it quits.
I don't know what I'm doing that weekend.
You got to do something. You got to do nerdy indie pro wrestling. I'm going to like 3 pro wrestling shows on Friday.
And yet you're not going to Mania, which is weird.
I'm not going to Mania.
That's weird.
And
I'm going to eat, bro. I'm going there to eat.
And I'm going to Wale Mania Thursday night, and then the the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 live mailbag on Friday.
Are you going to the breakfast or whatever with them, or the lunch or whatever with them?
No, because I think I'm gone by then.
That's too bad, because that restaurant is amazing. We went in for 30, the Tale of Two Sisters. Amazing.
Well, I just think about it. I mean, there's going to be a show where Alan, myself, and Doohan are both going to be there. Or I mean, all 3 of us are going to be there, and Sarah, I think, as well. Alan's better half.
My favorite.
We have to all be in the same building at once and at least take a picture. That has
we'll
to happen.
see. I got to figure out what day I'm going, bro. What time are you leaving?
Saturday morning.
Shit, you're leaving Saturday morning and not Sunday morning?
No, because we got to watch. Because we got to do.
I might be flying in Saturday morning, dude.
You're only staying one day?
I'm staying till Monday.
2 days.
Staying till Monday, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Alan and Doohan and those guys, I think they're probably getting in either Wednesday.
Are you going to New York for next year?
Who knows? I
don't think I will.
I can't think that far in advance.
No, I don't know. I want to go to New York, bro.
New York's fun as hell.
I've been there, but I don't ever want to go back. It's fun to visit, but I don't ever want to live there. I don't know. We'll see. What match could they do that would draw me? I don't know.
In New York?
Yeah, it's gonna depend on the card. Because let me tell you, that Cena Rock match, not very good. I hate that match. I still hate that match. I hate that fucking match. The first one was good. The second one was trash.
Well, because
of course the 30 for 30 episode was 6 hours long because Draven got shit-faced drunk and cut a promo on racism and wrestling for like 30 minutes. That was the most drunk he's ever been on the air, and on Alberto being buried, and then that was a great show because for the first half of our breakdown of Rock versus Cena, I'm trashing the match and he's defending it, and then literally halfway through he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. Fuck that match, and he went into his huge promo about like why the match sucked, like repeating what I just said. So good times.
I did get a question about where someone could find the WrestleMania 30 for 30s. So
there's a major
people are still
problem.
Asking about them.
There's a major problem going on with TalkShoe right now that I have to resolve because all of my shows are gone.
Oh, jeez.
I have backups of like most of them, but not all of them, and they have not gotten back to me. It's beginning to piss me off, like big time. Like, I'm not gonna get into it right now, but there's a lot of stuff like throughout the years that I have on there that's gone, like literally gone.
Even when you guys are like crank calling hookers and stuff.
No, that stuff. I mean, that stuff is on Blog Talk.
Oh, okay.
Not on Talk Shoe. No, the site that Ed still uses for some reason, but all right. I don't know why anybody would use it, considering that we now have YouTube streaming, which is free, but whatever.
I don't know, man. You got to tell them. Okay, so that's it for this episode, and we'll be back next week to talk about more Road to WrestleMania stuff. Hopefully, coming out of Fastlane, there will be some stuff to talk about, and hopefully the Cena Taker stuff will be sort of figured out, and then we can update about what you're hearing about it on that side as well.
I think we'll know for sure by next Monday. I think we'll definitely know for sure what they're doing, because they can't just leave Cena in the dark. Even if they don't do Cena Taker, they got to do something.
All right, man. So thanks for hanging out. I know it's a little bit late on your end, but appreciate it. Always enjoy doing this. So for Big D and Geekdom 101 / World of Geekdom, I am Double G. We will see you when we see you. Peace out.